with semaglutide, it's just the GLP-1 receptor, and that's going to help with appetite suppression and slowing the digestive tract. And that's already something that we produce in our gut. That process signals our body to create GLP-1, and then it is quickly broken down by something that's called CD26. And what we've done is we've taken that GLP-1 agonist and we've replaced one of the amino acids so that it is now foreign to the DPP4 that wants to break it down.
Welcome back to another Restore Hyper Wellness Podcast. This is not corporate. If you hear something you don't like, take it up yourself. Maddie, welcome back. Second podcast. The first one, I actually lost my camera angle. I deleted it on accident. So that's why I never had the full thing.
Oh, okay.
I just had your clips and I was like, I got her clips. So it's fine.
You're like, it's fine. I was wondering,
fine.
I'm like, man, this is just me. But
no. There's
fine.
Definitely this will be a full episode because I'm going to have someone else manage it for me, which is why I hired the manager.
There we go.
They were good. Well, So Restore has some fun things coming down the pike. They've been talking like they do. A lot of words.
Yep.
And some of the talks mention TRT, some of the talks mention peptides. So I want to take today to mention the possibilities of what could be.
Sure.
And with that, we have some fun stories. So with GLP-1s, we had someone that had a little debacle recently. I don't know, a new experience. Walk us through what a new experience of GLP-1s can do, done right, done wrong, just everything in that world.
So we could dive in with what GLP-1s really are and what they do in the bodies, just to give people a better spectrum. Because I feel like when we are talking about them, it's easy for people to automatically think like this is another drug entering the market, this is another pharmaceutical, this is just another way to band-aid a symptom, when really this is something that's already in our bodies that we are slightly tweaking so that it lasts longer, so it can outperform its existing function, essentially. So with semaglutide, it's just the GLP-1 receptor, like working on that singular receptor. And that's going to help with appetite suppression and slowing the digestive tract. And that's already something that we produce in our gut. And it happens when our fiber is fermenting in our gut. So that process signals our body to create GLP-1. And then it is quickly broken down by something that's called CD26 or DPP4. And that just quickly breaks it down and then it's done. And what we've done is we've taken that GLP-1 agonist and we've replaced one of the amino acids so that it is now foreign to the DPP4 that wants to break it down. So it isn't signaling that to break it down. So it has a much longer half-life in our body. And what that is doing is just helping the symptoms of what that is doing for our body evolutionarily, which is to have less appetite, to slow down our digestion so we can last longer in between each meal, and just prolonging that feeling.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Now with GLP-1s, I think it's Tirzepatide is like a triple antagonist. It's was it a glucagon?
So Tirzepatide is actually just a double agonist.
Double, okay.
Retatrutide is the triple.
Which Reta's cool. Have
Reta's
you heard about
cool.
Reta?
I wish we were getting Reta because
so in bodybuilding,
that's going to
Reta's
take over the whole thing.
No, in bodybuilding, Reta's like the thing. We've been talking about it for maybe years now, where everyone's like, dude, Reta's the stuff.
Reta's the bomb.
Yeah. And I've been, because that's a triple, right?
Right.
Because I made some content around Reta. And I've been interested on that because that has I think the least amount of lean muscle mass loss too. Mm-hmm. So it's okay, how do we get the best of both worlds? Because a lot of people on GLP-1s experience lean tissue loss if not done correctly.
Right.
So it's how do we mitigate that as much as possible?
Yeah.
How would you say is the best way to mitigate any kind of lean muscle loss on a GLP-1?
So first I would choose, if you have the option, choose Tirzepatide over semaglutide if those are the two that you have available to you. Reason being is that it has a little bit less of the appetite suppressant and digestion slowing. And that's going to allow you to still have the desire to eat the meals that you need to sustain yourself and build your muscle. But it's also working on that GIP receptor, which is what you were kind of getting into prior. And that's a glucose-dependent insulin-tropic polypeptide, I think is the very long government name of it. Mm-hmm. But what that does is it's helping bring back the insulin sensitivity to your cells, and it's working on B cells and your adipose tissue and your muscle. So it's bringing those GIP receptors on the cell membranes, bringing them back after they've been removed due to like inflammation and other things going on. And when those are brought to the surface of the cell, that's when we're regaining that insulin sensitivity. So when that receptor is back on the outside of the cell membrane, that is when we can then receive insulin again. And tirzepatide triggers those to come back to the surface, and it prolongs their life on the surface of the cell membrane as well. So it's just going to automatically increase your insulin sensitivity and your ability to use glucose in the muscle, because we know that glucose is really important for building muscle, or just for helping get glucose out of your bloodstream. So if we have that sensitivity back in the muscle, that's going to help do that as well. And of course, in your adipose tissue, helping with using fat and not just letting it sit there and not really have a purpose.
Yeah.
So.
One thing that I've always done is I've personally gone the Metformin route versus a Tirzepatide, just because it's classic and age old at this point. Sure. But for me, I know insulin sensitivity is like always the end goal. Like, I don't really care about the catalyst. I just care about being insulin sensitive.
Right.
So your experience, what percentage of Americans are, insulin resistant and don't know it yet?
I mean, off the top of my head, data-wise, I'm not sure, but I'd be willing to say at least 80% are at least semi-insulin resistant, because we have to keep in mind that it's not always because we have too much sugar in our system and that's making the cells be overloaded. I think that is the very classic narrative of insulin sensitivity. We actually have a function in our body that will make your cells insulin resistant on purpose due to stress. And it is your body looking out for you. So it wants sugar to go right to your brain to be used for energy to help with your stress that you're signaling to your body. So it's just automatically doing that to help you out, because you're telling your body that you're stressed and you need it in your brain now. Which yawning is actually a signal that your brain is stressed. So you knew.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I got plenty of things going on.
So yeah, you're just kind of like ventilating, but that is just like literally your brain is working in overtime and you need to do that. But
that's if you haven't had a method detox, that's COMT, baby. Especially when I haven't had NAD in forever. I've just been so slammed and I feel it.
Yeah. I am due for my NR and I took methylene blue this morning to kind of help with my
I need to take my methylene blue again too, dang it. Like,
tastes so bad.
So I get the troches. I just swallow it.
Do you do what is it called? Transcriptions? Did you use them?
No, I have a clinic that I work with.
Oh, cool.
That gives like actual prescribed methylene blue.
Is it just pure methylene blue?
No, it's like 5 different compounds, but methylene blue's in there.
Is there nicotine in it?
I don't think so. I'm really
curious
check.
About the.
I have it in my car. I really need to take it. It's kind of melted into just one block now.
Oh, but do you just tuck it up? Is that what you do?
No, it's not. I'm not dipping it. You swallow it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm like, there's so many different. If you do tuck it up, it goes right into your bloodstream.
Yeah.
Like a nicotine pouch.
Yes.
But I don't know. I've seen
here's
so many
the interesting thing.
I just
Each cube is 180 milligrams.
Oh, geez.
Not even, because a lot of people are doing like 5 milligrams.
That's what I do.
And I talked to some of my clinician friends, and I was like, why is everyone doing like 5 when I'm doing like 45? I'm like, well, people just don't know how to dose rate. But the thing is, I take typically 45 is great. I've done 90 and I felt awesome.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine only doing 5 because of how much 45 and 90 does for me.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm not sure who has different COMT and how your brain functions. A funny thing yesterday, I had an Alani. I actually got way more tired drinking it because the B12. There's the B12 thing going in there. That's the fake stuff, and
the cyanocobalamin.
Yeah, you just can't methylate it. You just get tired. So if you find yourself getting tired drinking an energy drink,
do you know what that's made of? Have we talked about that before?
No. Was it rat poop or something? Or
I wish, because I feel like honestly that would be less terrifying. But so it is like a form of cyanide. So it's like cyanocobalamin.
Yeah.
But what they do is they literally take like the top layer of sludge from sewage plants. And they literally just like compact that down, dry it, concentrate it until it becomes that.
Nice.
And they originally started doing this in the 50s to add nutrients back into livestock feed. And they said, what about humans?
Mm-hmm.
They could, if a cow can have it,
Like, come on, we can get a little bigger.
Then we could do it. But then you just don't even use it. You can't even use it anyway. But I swear, like if you do have a COMT or any break in your methylation cycle, it makes me feel so sick because I think it's just sitting in my system longer than it should.
Yeah.
And it's not doing what it's supposed to.
Yep.
And it makes you wonder, like with MTRR, like your B12 recycling, does it see that as a B12 to like just recycle this like poisonous material? Maybe it is if you have a functional MTRR, but I feel like that's just not talked about or wondered about. I just don't.
No, it's something where
scary.
if you're into the space, you can understand, like, because I'm very mindful of how I feel, like black coffee, but only cold brew. Like black cold brew coffee sits well with me. And I remember I had a buddy who's really into coffee and they're like, dude, actually cold brew is like better for you. Like on your stomach, it sits a little easier than like typical black coffee. I just wasn't into that, but I'm like super into monitoring how I feel after I eat something.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love Chick-fil-A. I hate how I feel after I eat Chick-fil-A.
It's garbage.
Because they put so much stuff into it.
And it's like, why are they doing that?
Yeah, because it used to be great. Like I remember like when I was younger, it wasn't as bad. And I'm not sure what it is about being younger and just being able to eat whatever you want and start getting older and you're like, can't do it anymore.
It's because you did whatever you wanted when you were younger.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Just that compounding effect. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
It's fine.
I'm not sure. Are you somebody do you like to like measure your metrics a lot when it comes to like blood glucose and all these things?
You would think so, but no.
Not as much.
Not as much. I would like to, but I just now recently conquered my fear of needles. And it was not a like voluntary fear, obviously, but I would just go unconscious like immediately.
I remember the first time, and this for all remembers too, like you guys are going to have to start doing your own peptide injections. You don't have to, but it's going to be encouraged because what if you go on a trip?
Yeah.
What if you go on a trip? You don't want to not take your substance.
Ipamorelin, you have to do 5 days a week.
Yeah, you get pretty
That's crazy.
Consistent. So my first peptide I ever took was Ipamorelin. And I remember my first shot, I did like a sub-Q in my stomach. It took me 20 minutes to do it. I was like sweating. I was like, I don't know what to do because I'm like, I want to hurt. And then eventually I just got past all the dumb stuff and I was like, okay, guys, just start with your glutes. Do a glute injection. It's way easier. It doesn't hurt. Also, quads surprisingly don't hurt either. Just pinch fat on top, done. Sub-Q is great. Yeah, it's super easy. Like if you're looking for a place that doesn't, because stomach I've just gone totally away from. There's too many nerves. It can hurt.
I feel like it's kind of crazy that that's like the go-to spot.
It is, which is so crazy because there's so many better spots. And then also once you learn, like, especially in my field, sub-Q versus IM, you don't really need to do IM. For TRT, like almost everything, you don't have to do IM. Like
it's very select things. Like NAD, you should absolutely do IM.
Yeah, well, just because of pure volume too. Because if we're doing a shot, it's like 2.5 milliliters. Please try to do 2.5 milliliters sub-Q. You're going to have a ball this big coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gets bad. So we have that. Now everyone knows about a GLP-1. People don't know about ghrelin antagonist. So, with some of the peptides that we're having, I think it's like ipamorelin, possibly maybe kind of sorta in the future. Walk us through what a ghrelin antagonist is and where that can be useful for certain people and where this is coming into.
So ghrelin is going to be what is giving you a sense of hunger. And then there's leptin that gives you the sense of satiety. The way I remember that is ghrelin is like like your stomach is growling.
Nice.
Or it just sounds like ghrelin because it's ghrelin. But so an antagonist which are you talking about ipamorelin, you said?
Yeah.
For that? So that's going to help you feel more hungry, right? Okay. So people who have appetite issues, bodybuilders can use that one a lot more, but
I've used it plenty because I hate eating food.
Yeah. It's hard to eat a certain amount of protein, especially if you're turned off by any kind of protein, which a lot of people
when you
are.
just get, like you get to a certain body weight, like, when I was 250, getting up almost 260, like eating 250 grams of protein plus more, because my coach was like, oh, we need to get 300. I'm like, man, I can't.
You're like, that's kind of crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
I have to do my life too. I can't just
So have
eat.
you done that?
Yeah.
With ipamorelin?
Yeah.
And you
it's
feel a
been
huge
great.
difference?
Yeah. So more than like GHRPs, which are just growth hormone releasing peptide 2 and 6. It's awesome. But another application, the same as like MK677, which is being medically studied a lot too. People who are older. So if you're an older person who's like, fragile bones, men and women or whoever, and you can't sustain lean muscle mass. I mean, what is the metric? Like you break a hip, you're going to die in the next 2 or 3 years. There's like a super...
It's really scary.
No, it's a morbid thing to think about. But if have weak bones or don't have muscles as you get older, you become very sedentary. You can't get up, you can't move. And I mean, your death rate just goes up. So these peptides are helping people put on weight. You know, everyone's talking about losing weight. Losing weight's great, but
it's not the only signifier of health. And
it's
I think
not.
It's so hyper-focused.
Yeah. And it's almost bad now because you can like see, like you could just see GLP-1s now when you look in a crowd. Man, you can have muscle too. It's okay.
Or once you achieve that goal, shift.
Yes.
You know, every 3 months, I feel like you should pivot, even if that means just microdosing what you were already on to add in something else, or try a different blend or something, or getting off altogether and just letting your body adapt to what you had already done and then trying something new. You know, we have quite a few clients that were on the same, even just IM injections for a long time, and they had already reached their goals, but they were just on a routine, like with lipo B12 or L-carnitine and things like that, but they had already finished the weight loss part of their journey. And we've now pivoted them onto NAD because they are in a great place health-wise, and now they have the luxury of just focusing on longevity, and not like needing to do all these other things. But I think we just get stuck
people
in
get very
specific routines.
People get
Or
very
it's scary to switch, really.
Yeah. Let's get monotonous. They think that you do one thing, and if I just do this one thing, it's going to solve all of my issues.
Right.
And they don't think like, what's the underlying cause of my issues?
Yeah.
And what's life going to look like when I don't have issues anymore? Like, what's that other side of the bridge look like?
That's the scariest part.
That's the scariest part. I mean, people honestly sometimes don't even want to get better because they're afraid of what better is going to be like.
Change is terrifying.
Change is terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, it's accountability too. So it's outside of your like, oh, I have to take ownership over how I feel now.
Right.
And not just these shots I get, which we love you getting shots. It's great. We love the shot. I love the shots, but I also want you to be healthy.
Yeah.
And being healthy is on the other side of some hard conversations with yourself about what you maybe need to change.
Right. I remember when I went on my natural weight loss journey 5 years ago, I lost about 90 pounds. Once that had happened, I realized every single part of my life was making me unhappy. And those things were what had brought me to that dark place to begin with. And I couldn't even realize that's where I was until I had just taken control of one aspect of my life, which was my health. So that meant breaking out of a 10-year-long relationship, moving out of the house, getting a completely different job, leaving my family's business. Like, there's so many things. And if I had known that those things were coming when I had taken on my health as priority one, you know, it probably would have been a lot harder, which is why I think people need to, of course, take baby steps and celebrate each small victory versus hyper-focusing on the end result, because you will see the pros and cons of the end result if that's all what you're looking at versus just like really focusing on the journey.
I like to tell people that as you grow as a person, your floor is going to change. And your floor is like what you're willing to tolerate with yourself and other people.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe right now your floor is like, I can eat out 6 times a week and eat junk food. I can not work out. I can do anything. That is your floor that you've created for yourself.
Yeah.
You can create a new floor by saying, you know what, I'm not going to do this. And I'm going to go on a run twice a week. And I'm not going to like settle for anything less. Or I'm going to, you know, as you start to run better, you may get a little more confident. You're like, actually, I'm not going to talk to you like that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I think I actually do deserve that promotion. Like, and then everything else starts changing. And it's all because that baseline health started to change.
Yeah. You realize you set the standard. Nobody else does.
And that's a thing I wish more people understood, that they get to set the standards.
Right.
They get to set the rules. There's not this like, I love the analogy of this guy stepped on stage and he was talking about, you know, I have this thing I'm giving away. It's just like free course, like this huge thing. It normally sells for like $10,000. He's just on stage and he holds him up. He's like, this is for you to take. And he just stops and stands there. Nobody in the room gets up. Like, it's like $20,000 worth of like free value. And then finally someone from the stage like runs up and grabs it. And he's like, look how long that took. Everyone is constantly waiting for permission to do the things they want to do, but we're not kids anymore. You can do the thing you've always wanted.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think a lot of our members can think about, because they're always waiting for that permission. I feel like we're the permission to an extent sometimes of like, they come in and they start to feel better. We're like, no, you can do like you can try NAD because it's not because we want to sell it to you, but like we want you to feel better.
Right. Or even just like realize that you have control over your health, and it's not only up to your doctor's permission or like somebody else. Like, there are so many modalities and options for you that don't have to be left up to somebody else to give you that permission. And luckily I love that we're headed that way with healthcare, whether it's forced at this point or just us realizing that like it comes down to you making the decisions for yourself. So it's definitely like liberating knowing that like people are finally taking those steps and making the decisions for themselves and their families.
Absolutely. Sure. Well, so with all the things we're coming on, we've touched on GLP-1s. We've touched on the peptide portion of it. Now, testosterone is something we were also, flirting with the idea of it becoming a possibility. Walk us through what that testosterone pipeline's like and, what having low testosterone feels like, and then what having adequate levels of testosterone can feel like.
Yeah, I know that we are experiencing like all-time low levels of testosterone as a society, and that goes for men and women. And this can be from a lot of factors. I think a lot of it is obviously diet. For men, I think it is a abnormally high amount of estrogen due to diet and lifestyle, and it's just throwing off their, balances. And supplementing it is not going to be like supplementing something else where it is downregulating your ability to create it, because we're kind of at a point, I think, where supplementing is kind of one of the only options, especially for men. But when you do have low T, it can affect your libido. It can affect your hair, your ability to create muscle, your energy levels, your ability to age gracefully. For women, it's very similar, except it can come more in the way of like skin health issues, if they have low testosterone, or drive, energy, brain fog, that kind of stuff. So they do kind of work similarly, but I do think that it's not talked about enough that women need it sometimes even more than men do.
Yeah, it's hard to understand, tell people that like, men and women both have testosterone and estrogen. We both have it.
Yeah.
It's important. If a guy doesn't have estrogen, like your body's not going to work. Like it's bad. So you need both. And it's a ratio that works for you.
Yeah.
Like that's what you need to find. There's no magic dosing. There's no nothing. It's like, what ratio do you feel great at? I've had estrogen in the hundreds. I've had estrogen in 5 personally. And I've been like, okay, I've noticed the feelings, one, I can hold more water weight with something else, but especially for women too, like if you are experiencing a lot of the like low energy, and PCOS is super common where people are, I think it's testosterone dominant when that happens, but their estrogen's cranked too. And
they're having like insulin resistance.
And they're insulin resistant.
Yeah, it's like the perfect storm of everything. Yeah.
Well, I remember it was a coworker that took Metformin. I was like, why do you take Metformin? She's like, I take Metformin. It's like, oh, it's PCOS. I had no idea that, Metformin is commonly prescribed for people with PCOS. And I was like, okay, it's just insulin sensitivity. Like,
yeah, they say it's insulin sensitivity of the ovaries. It's like it's like a very common way of describing it.
Yeah. And I'm like, because in my head, I'm like, man, there's plenty of ways to manage insulin sensitivity without Metformin. And because I know in my brain, I have all these tools that I use because I'm like on the performance aspect of it, but I've manipulated so many biomarkers naturally that I'm like I can do everything. I know the tools at my disposal.
Yeah.
But I'm using these to like go the extra mile. Someone who's just like a normal teenager, I don't feel like needs to just be like
maybe doing the same. Yeah.
I'm like, you could just like, eat a little better and work out and probably be great. Like I have I text my like blood glucose like every day. Before Metformin, I mean, there's a point, especially when you're shoving calories down your face and you're like, okay, I'm eating 7,000 calories a day, trying to put on weight. It gets a little hard to be super.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. It's real fun. People would be like,
I go over 2,000 calories and I'm gaining weight very easily.
No, you would hate to see my meals coming. They'd be, when I was in high school, it would be like 3 Pizza Hut pizzas after the gym. And that'd be one of my meals. And I have 5 meals throughout the day.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
You're like, yeah. You're like, it got up there.
It's so much food. And that's why I just don't like eating food, because I get so burnt out on it. I'm like, done it. I have to keep on eating to maintain it now. It's so annoying. So that's where finding like a healthy baseline of like, okay, let's figure out where our body just feels good.
Yeah.
And just stick there. You don't have for girls, you don't have to be under 100 pounds. Like, first off, that's insane anyways. Like, and for guys, maybe you don't need to be 350 of lean muscle. You're going to die anyways. Like,
unless you're Dave Asprey.
Which one's Dave Asprey again? He's the
father of biohacking.
Okay.
He's the one that coined the term.
Which one? The
biohacking.
Oh, he coined biohacking.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a big guy? How big is he? Like,
for his age, he looks proportionate.
Okay.
Like he's very lean, but he used to be 300 pounds, like fat.
Okay. He was
And his
obese,
testosterone was like something crazy, like 8. He said his testosterone levels were lower than his mom's.
Yeah.
But his journey is really interesting. He also is the one that invented like bulletproof coffee and like that whole thing. He's the one that started that. He's no longer, I think he got kicked out of his own company because he is a specific individual, but he is a genius. So I love his podcast.
Most specific people are.
You know, he's definitely, he says what did he say? He had autism, or he said he was somewhere on the spectrum and that he biohacked his way out of it.
I feel like he's definitely still on the spectrum, which is how he biohacked his way out of it.
Which
probably.
I'm like, just stay there. You're great. Like you're so smart. You know, you've used it to your.
Well, it's like Elon Musk. Like he's crazy. I know it.
He's really
He's
crazy.
done crazy stuff.
You gotta be a little crazy.
You got it. Like who else is gonna like? I'm gonna build a rocket that like lands itself and goes all over the place. Like no.
Or Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
He's autistic.
Yes.
He's autistic as hell.
And I think this is a great way for people to, you use your weaknesses as strengths. Yeah. That's what they really are. Like, let's say if someone
you're neurodivergent, you own that shit.
Own that shit. Like for me, I'm someone who like moves really, really fast. I have a lot of energy, and I confuse the hell out of people sometimes. And I get that. And the coach that I work with is like, you know what, this is actually a gift, and let's teach other people. Let's streamline it. Let's figure out how to use this and how people can work with you. And I'm sure as a manager, you have to be like, okay, I have my personal style. I can see that you're like very all in what you do, and Haley and here are like, can you work less, please? Sometimes, and I can see that probably other coworkers maybe don't have the same sentiment, and I at least get like this, where I'm like, guys, come on, like, I'm working 14 hours a day sometimes. I'm like just super excited about it, and they're like, dude, chill. I'm like, what do you mean chill?
There's no time to chill.
Yeah, there's no time to chill.
There's so much to learn.
There's so much to learn, so much to do.
I know.
But using your so-called weaknesses as a strength is something I think a lot of people can lean into, especially with their hormones. So if you're feeling like, oh, instead of feeling down about yourself about having low testosterone, whatever. I mean, I had my low testosterone journey. Getting higher testosterone is amazing. There's no like, especially in the fitness industry, people are like, oh, you're not natty. I'm like, dude, I don't care because I feel good.
Right. I feel like if you are natty at this point, it's because you've literally focused on this your entire life. Yeah. And your parents like raised you with like a very health conscious household and emotionally stable household, whatever that means. And maybe that's how they got there, because people really do underestimate the amount of like trauma that you carry like throughout your life, whether it is like physical, what you ate, what you went through, like that has like such a big impact on everything. So
yeah, have you read the book, The Body Keeps Score?
I've heard of it, but I've not read it yet.
Yeah, me too. I've like done all the high level learning of it because I just haven't gotten around to reading it. But also Gabor Mate's book is amazing. I forgot what it's called, but he has like 2 or 3 books. He does really well at identifying how your mental health is influencing your physical health. And there's a study like most entrepreneurial men have heart attacks on Mondays, which I thought was just a super funny fact. That I'm like, okay, wait, you're telling me like super high successful men who own businesses die on Monday, which is just all the stress.
Stop. What?
But it's just a thing to think
That's
about.
Crazy.
Like, I know, but it makes sense. And a lot of people need to manage stress. Like
just another cardiac Monday. Am I right?
You know how it is. Well, and it's so I think it's something to note for people to be mindful of your stress outside of just health. Like, so if you're coming in and getting like NAD and cryo and all this stuff, like, great. If you're stressed out of your mind, it's not going to do much.
It might make it worse.
I make it worse, actually.
Cryo and sauna are like hormetic stressors. So your body kind of reads it the same anyway. And if you're already in a very like upregulated, stressful state, it could make it worse. But, if you're doing the tools outside of that to help keep it lower, then it can help. But that NF-κB pathway, man, it's always upregulated.
Yep. And that's where
causing that inflammation.
Yeah. And like, so we want to be a holistic solution to like all of our clients' problems. We have different journeys. We have a journey for starting out. We have a journey for maintaining your goals. We have a journey for the place you want to get to. Yeah. And none of them look the same, and they're all going to be different. We're just kind of, we're holding your hand through the journey so you can kind of have some direction and not waste money on a bunch of different weird fads and like, 8-week weight loss programs or whatever, which nothing happens in 8 weeks. Tell me the last time something great happened in 8 weeks. I don't remember. Like, especially with your health.
Yeah. Unless you were starting it and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then you start.
Yes.
And then you start doing it. But yeah, you didn't get sick immediately. So you're not going to get fixed immediately.
Absolutely. Well, okay. Is there anything we haven't touched on so far with the peptides, TRT, and GLP-1s you want to touch on?
Well, I'm going to be starting Tirzepatide soon.
Nice.
So what's
your dosing protocol?
So after the talk with Haley, I'm a little nervous to go all in. I did talk with the NP yesterday for a while about like my goals with it and kind of like my current lifestyle and routine. But basically, I'm experiencing a little bit of an inflammation weight gain. And I think part of that is because I do go between weightlifting and more like low impact exercises. And although when I do weightlift, I get a lot of good results, I feel like sometimes my inflammation was already a little bit higher than it should be. And that like makes it a little bit worse since it is a healthy inflammation. But if you already are inflamed, then it can make you puffy or gain weight in a way that you don't want to. Even if the end result is eventually like it coming back down because of your glucose control. But I'm not really seeing that right now. And I don't really know what's going on. So I did an organic acid test to test my mitochondrial function and see if there's anything going on in my gut. Do have a couple things going on in my gut that I'm addressing through a protocol. And then my mitochondria are struggling, like bad. So really low CoQ10, really low L-carnitine. And I have low biotin, which I thought was weird because I'm not really experiencing symptoms of low biotin. So I looked into like the Krebs cycle with your mitochondria and see if for some reason, like if biotin could be pulled for something that it doesn't normally get pulled for. And biotin's like full name is methylcitric and citric acid is used in the Krebs cycle. So my body is literally using biotin in my Krebs cycle to supplement for things that I don't have to make it happen. And that's why it's lower. And that is causing blood sugar dysregulation as well. So everything's super connected. But
do you test your fasted glucose in the morning?
I don't. I should.
That's number one thing. Fasting I ever did. Yeah. Just in the morning, wake up, what you're fasted at.
Yeah.
Because throughout the day, literally doesn't matter. You're going to spike all day. Just because you eat things, things happen. I remember, I had like one day where I was like 120 and I was like, all right, I need to do more cardio. Started doing more cardio like that, woke up at 60 in like a week.
Wow.
Yeah, but your insulin sensitivity is one of those things that like you have a lot of control over. And I tell people, and I said, I also take metformin, I also take L-carnitine, and I also do cardio and work out and weight lift.
So you train like a shit ton. So yeah.
So you got to manage all those things. But I mean, the insulin sensitivity is, I love how important it is and how much it does for you. And that's why I think everyone should kind of start with that of like, okay, just wake up, check your blood glucose, and go from there.
Yeah. That's definitely a good point. But I essentially was telling the NP that I'm just seeing if it will help specifically my NF-kB pathway be less inflamed so that I have a downstream response from that, which is why I started NR to begin with, because it also downregulates that too. So I'm going to see if the combination together will help. I have a lot of sugar cravings from the gut dysbiosis I'm dealing with. So I don't normally like give into those, but I do like find roundabout ways to do it. So I think that's still feeding the bacteria, even if it is like a sugar-free option. So I'm not even eating like fruit right now. It's horrible.
Well, let us keep us posted on the journey. We'll do another podcast probably next month, and
cool.
We'll see. How soon are you starting?
So as soon as they get shipped to my house, they're already shipped. So I should have been on my journey for a little bit. So we'll have to check back in.
Sweet. Well, thanks for being on.
Yep. Thanks for having me.